The Creature with the Red Chest. Welcome to Dark Tale Shorts 101, where every shadow has a story to tell. Our stories are inspired by real people, folklore, personal encounters, and terrifying experiences from around the world. While the narration is created using AI voice technology, the stories come from human accounts and unexplained events people never forget. If you enjoy short horror stories, paranormal encounters, and creepy storytelling, please like, subscribe, and join us, because sometimes the scariest stories are the ones people swear really happened. Tonight's story is called The Creature with the Red Chest. Thank you to everyone who shares their stories with us and helps bring these chilling experiences to life. My grandparents used to tell us stories from Laos. Not stories meant to entertain children, but warnings. The kind told quietly at night, when the house was still, and the older people thought we were not listening. They spoke of spirits in the jungle, things that lived in the trees, things that waited for people who walked alone. One story I never forgot was about a black creature with a red chest. My grandfather said it looked almost like a dog, but not a normal dog. Its body was long and thin. Its fur was darker than the night around it. Its legs were too long. Its claws were curved, and its eyes were empty. But the part everyone remembered was the red patch on its chest. Not brown, not orange, red, like raw meat, like blood. My grandfather said the creature did not hunt like other animals. It did not chase you at first. It waited above you, hanging from tree branches, watching, and when it found someone alone, it would drop down and suck the life out of them. Not their blood, their breath, their strength, their spirit. He said people who survived seeing it became weak for days. Some became sick. Some never acted the same again. As a child, I thought it was just another old story from Laos, something our grandparents told us so we would not wander too far into the woods. But my grandfather never smiled when he told it. He would look at us and say, "If you ever hear something in the trees, screaming like a hog being caught or cornered, do not look for it. Do not answer it. And if it comes close, burn dried pepper. Burn something strong, something that stinks. The smell will drive it away." Then he would say, "That thing hates smoke. It hates pepper, and it hates the smell of burning rubber." I never thought I would need to remember that. Not here, not in the United States, not during hunting season. Years later, I went hunting alone in the fall. It was early morning, cold, gray, the kind of morning where the woods looked dead. Most of the leaves had already fallen. The trees stood bare against the sky. I had my rifle, some water, and a small lunch. Inside my lunch bag, I had dried peppers wrapped with my food. I remember walking deep into the woods before sunrise, trying to reach my hunting spot before the deer started moving. Everything felt normal at first. The crunch of leaves under my boots, the cold air in my lungs, the smell of dirt, frozen grass, and old leaves. But after a while, the woods changed. The birds stopped. The squirrels stopped moving. Even the wind seemed to disappear. It became too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your skin tighten before your mind understands why. I stopped walking. Then I heard it, a sound from somewhere ahead of me. At first, I thought it was a wounded animal. Then it came again, a scream. High, sharp, terrible. It sounded like a hog being caught or cornered. That was the only way I could describe it. A hog scream, but louder, wilder, more desperate, like something trapped, angry, and ready to tear through anything in its way. The sound echoed through the trees, and my stomach turned cold. I stood there, frozen. Then I heard movement above me. A branch creaked. Slowly, I looked up, and there it was, hanging from a tree branch. Black, long, thin. Its body stretched along the limb, like a shadow that had grown bones. Its head turned toward me. It looked like a dog, but wrong in every way. The face was too narrow. The mouth was too wide. The limbs bent in ways that made no sense. And then, I saw its chest, that red patch. Dark. Wet looking. Just like my grandfather had described. My whole body went cold. For a moment, I could not move. I could not breathe. The creature opened its mouth. That hog-like scream came out again. So loud and sharp that it felt like it went straight through my skull. I stumbled backward. Then it made another sound. A low, wet, sucking sound, like it was pulling air through its teeth. The moment I heard it, I felt weak. My knees shook. My arms felt heavy. My chest tightened, like something invisible had wrapped around it. I tried to raise my rifle, but my hands would not steady. It was not just fear. It felt like something was being pulled out of me. My breath, my strength, my life. The creature lowered itself from the branch, hanging upside down now, its claws digging into the bark. Its eyes stayed locked on me. That was when my grandfather's warning came back. If it comes close, burn dried pepper. Burn something strong. Something that stinks. My hands were shaking as I dropped my pack. The creature screamed again. That hog scream tore through the woods. I reached into my lunch bag and grabbed the dried peppers. I could barely think. I fumbled through my pocket for my lighter. The creature moved closer, branch to branch. Fast. Too fast. It did not climb like an animal. It moved through the trees, like a black stain. I finally found my lighter. My fingers were numb. I dropped it once into the leaves. I grabbed it again and flicked it. Nothing. I flicked it again. A small flame appeared. I held it to the dried peppers. They did not catch right away. The creature was almost above me now. Its mouth opened wide. The sucking sound grew louder. My vision blurred. I could feel my body giving up. Then, the peppers began to smoke. At first, only a thin line. Then the smell hit the air. Sharp, bitter, burning pepper. The creature jerked back. Its head snapped to the side. It screamed. But this time, it sounded angry. I coughed as the pepper smoke blew into my face. But I kept the flame there. The creature backed away along the branch. But it did not leave. It was still watching me. Still waiting. And somehow, I knew the pepper alone was not enough. Then I remembered the other part. Burning rubber. My grandfather had said it hated the smell of burning rubber. I looked down at my hunting boots. The only pair I had with me. For a second, I hesitated. Then the creature screamed again. That hog-like scream filled the woods. Like an animal being caught, cornered, and enraged. I knew I did not have time to think. I pulled off one boot. Then the other. My socks hit the cold ground. The frozen leaves stabbed into my feet. I did not care. I held the lighter to one of the boots. The rubber did not want to burn at first. The creature started moving again. Closer. The branch above me bent under its weight. I kept the flame pressed against the boot until the rubber began to melt. Then it smoked. A thick, black, awful smoke rose into the air. The smell was terrible. Burning rubber. Burning pepper. Bitter. Chemical. Choking. I could barely breathe. My eyes watered. My throat burned. But the creature hated it more than I did. It screamed so loud. I dropped to one knee. Its body twisted on the branch. It clawed at the bark. Then it let out a horrible sound, like a hog screaming after being trapped, caught, and cornered. It backed away fast, crawling backward into the higher branches. I shoved the second boot into the smoke too. The smell got worse. The smoke got thicker, and the creature retreated, branch by branch, tree by tree, until I could barely see it through the gray woods. Then it stopped one last time. Its red chest showed between the branches. It stared at me, and then it screamed, one final hog-like scream that echoed through the whole forest. After that, it disappeared. The woods stayed silent for a long time. I sat there on the ground, coughing, shaking, my feet freezing in my socks, with my lunch burned, and my hunting boots ruined beside me. I waited for it to come back. It never did. Eventually, the birds started making noise again. A squirrel moved somewhere behind me. The wind returned. But I did not feel safe. I wrapped my feet the best I could, gathered what I had left, and limped back toward my truck. Every few steps, I looked up into the trees. I expected to see that black shape hanging above me again. I expected to see that red chest. I expected to hear that hog scream tearing through the woods. But nothing came. When I reached my truck, I locked myself inside and sat there for a long time. My hands were still shaking. My clothes smelled like smoke, pepper, and burned rubber. My throat hurt. My eyes burned. But I was alive. Later, when I told one of my older relatives what happened, they did not laugh. They did not tell me I imagined it. They only asked, "Did it scream like a hog being caught?" I said yes. Then they asked, "Was the chest red?" I said yes. There was silence on the phone. Then they said, "Your grandparents told the truth." I do not know what that creature was. I do not know if it came from the old country, or if things like that have always existed here too. But I know what I saw. I know what I heard. And I know what saved me. A story. An old warning from my grandparents. Dried pepper. Burning rubber. And the memory of people who survived things most of us were taught not to believe in. Since that day, I have never hunted in that area again. And when I walk through the woods during fall, I always look up. Because sometimes, the forest gets quiet. Too quiet. And when the wind moves through the branches just right, I swear, I can still hear it. That terrible scream. Like a hog caught somewhere in the trees. And I remember the red chest. Hanging above me. Waiting. Thank you for listening to tonight's story. Here on Dark Tale Shorts 101. If this story gave you chills, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who enjoys creepy encounters, folklore, and unexplained stories. And if you have a true scary story, family legend, or personal experience you would like to share, we would love to hear it. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, not everything that hides in the dark is waiting on the ground. Some things watch from above.